Well, good morning, everyone, on Friday, the 8th of November. I'm up, as you can see, rather early in the morning, and that's because it's a very good day today because it's my last chemo session, chemo 6. But that means that I've been on the dexamethasone, the happy tablet steroids. But unfortunately, generally means you can't sleep. So it's a bit early in the morning. But anyway, sorry I haven't been on for a couple of weeks. But the last chemo course that I've been on, we really learned how cumulative the effects are. So it's been a tough couple of weeks, and I've gradually got better this week. And so that's why I'm putting this message out today. So as I said, it's the last chemo session, hopefully for a while. And so I wanted to, while I'm up, take the opportunity just to perhaps summarize to those of you who are going to be on chemo, particularly with Docetaxel, which is the prostate cancer. I think it is used elsewhere, but generally it's a main prostate cancer chemo treatment. Just a sort of review as I come to my last session of actually what it's been like, and perhaps helps you if you're about to start. So, as I've said before, I'm on a 3-week cycle, and so I'm going to summarize it on the basis of each week, really. And the first week is generally physical. The middle week is more sort of tiredness and mood, and then the third week is generally pickup week. So those I'll do for ease in 3 sections. So I'll give you some observations of mine, things that have happened, and obviously warnings or perhaps steps to take if you're going to come across the same, because they've been typical every time, but just become often more exaggerated. So sorry to get a bit medical, but by far the worst of anything I've been through is constipation. And actually, when I contacted them, it turns out that this condition is very prevalent with chemotherapy. Perhaps wasn't played up well enough to me, so I didn't really appreciate. But for those of you who have suffered with it, it's a condition that creeps up on you. You don't quite realize, and then you start to feel awkward, and then you get the physical part, and then panic because you're getting completely blocked up. So the strategy definitely for that is preemptive action. So what I've been doing is starting taking medication the day before I have the chemo, and keep taking the medication for at least to the end of the following week, probably the middle of the second week if necessary, if you're struggling. Two medications. One's called Movicol. Here's a picture of the box. And that you take morning and night, and takes about 48 hours to kick in. And then the other one is the Docetaxel. There's a picture here. And this stuff is mustard. So you take 2 of those pills sort of in the evening if you're in trouble, and they will they'll generally have an effect. So I really impress on you to take preventive action. I ended up with piles, and for those of you who've had piles, you don't want them. So that would be by far the biggest piece of advice I could give to anyone who's probably on chemotherapy, never mind Docetaxel. The second thing you'll get relatively quickly is a sore mouth, and it tends to be in the sort of the teeth and the gums, sort of inside your mouth is just sensitive. Doesn't seem to affect taste, but it's uncomfortable, but bearable. You just you just manage it. So you clean your teeth after every meal. And they also gave me a product called Difflam. Yeah, here's a picture of it here. And it's a mouthwash, just a very good mouthwash. So I'd really recommend that you have a very strict protocol, because you don't want to get an infection in your mouth. Generally goes away by the following Wednesday. As I've gone on with the courses, it does get more severe, and then I found that it moves up into sort of eyes and your eye area. But manageable, particularly if you're using the Difflam, and will go away. The classic one people think about is queasiness, sickness. To be honest, I've not really had it. They do give you a tablet at each chemo, which is a real anti-queasy one for 3 or 4 days, I think. But I've been okay. But I am a firm believer the biggest reason why I've not got queasy is I've always got up in the morning when you generally feel your best, gone and done exercise. I mean, I do swimming, but I've struggled with running lately. I'll talk about in a second. But I'll go walking, just take Nelson out twice a day if necessary. And then as you go through the courses, when you get more tired, I'll talk about just sleep in the afternoon. So my message would be, you might be feeling rubbish. Don't just lie in bed or lie on the sofa doing nothing. Get out and do some exercise, get yourself everything moving, and then rest when you need to. On chemo 4 and 5, I began to get sore nails. It was like I'd banged them on a surface, and my toenails were like I'd worn shoes that were too tight. When I checked it out, it's because the chemotherapy, as you know, attacks fast-growing cells. That's why your non-grey hair falls out, etc., etc. But because nails are fast-growing, the chemo attacks the base of your nails, and it's quite uncomfortable. It can, but the news is that it seems to last a few days and then passes. They're worried that your nails are actually going to go black, or your toenails go black first, and then your fingernails. I've not had any of that. So I still, again, will say I think that's because I'm exercising and out and about. Nosebleeds is also one, not too severe, but I think you have very small capillaries in your nose and you lose the hair inside your nose. And so just completely randomly, your nose starts to bleed. But it's not one of the uncontrollable ones. It's fairly steady and so easy manageable, and then it just seems to stop. And then the last one on the sort of physical side is puff. You just find that you just can't do things that you did before. So I've had to stop running and I was jogging sort of 30 minutes, but my heart rate would just go up so high that I just had to stop. I've carried on swimming, and I think because you're in water, and we talked about that, about hemoglobin in a previous video, I can manage that. Cycling as well is easier. So it seems to be because your hemoglobin drops from chemotherapy. I went from 155 to 123. So it's only when you get to 80 that they'll have to give you a blood transfusion. So 120 is not, really low, but I tell you, it's had a big effect. So you will find it's cumulative, and hence the reason you get more tired during the day. So that's the list. Number 1 is the real one to manage. All the rest are consequences, but they're not, in the grand scheme of things, they're not too serious. So then week 2 tends to be, as I said, the sort of fatigue and mood part. So sleep becomes even more important. I mean, one of the big learnings I've had with this chemo is about trying to make sure you sleep. If you don't sleep 7 or 8 hours, it seems to have a much bigger marked effect the next day. And that's why, see my previous video, I've got the Aura ring, and that's absolutely fantastic for trying to help you and tell you what your sleep pattern's like. So try and sleep. And when I found with chemo 4 and 5, I have had to sleep maybe a couple of hours in week 2 in the afternoon, and then you can get yourself into the evening and before you go to bed. I would generally say I've been grumpier. Yeah, just a short fuse. So sorry to Sarah for had a short fuse. Just a slight intolerance. And I would also say it manifests itself where normally I'm quite cool, and if problems come along, then I'll just go and manage, just sort them out. But you lose the ability to manage yourself with problems. They all become completely exaggerated, and that also, I think, ends up with a short fuse. So I just don't want any hassle. Don't seem to have as good ability to compute and manage a situation to actually what the situation's about. Everything seems to be, really tricky. So you have to be careful. As I said, that would be the main things in week 2. Sometimes you do get a bit dark. That's probably when I'm thinking silly thoughts, etc. And I think that's all related to that mood. So that's week 2, and then week 3, generally you start to pick up, and that's because the chemo, I think, has done its job, and they're trying to get your platelets back up for your next chemo. So you find, I tell you, by Wednesday, you're suddenly feeling so much better. I've been swimming, cycling, walking, everything Wednesday, Thursday, and I will today before I go to hospital, because you do feel great. And the great thing is I can't wait till I get off the chemo and then think how much better I'm going to feel then. So week 3, generally, you'll find yourself picking up, and that's good. So those would be the main physical tiredness, mood, and pick me up elements that I would give anyone some advice on. And overall, as long as you manage the constipation, it ain't too bad. I know everyone's a bit different. Exercise in the morning, rest in the afternoon if you need to, and it's okay. You can get through it. So I'm obviously up now, not quite sure what I'm going to do because I'm that awake. And what is it? 4:30. So I'll drop off now and then catch up with you when I'm in the car on the way to the hospital for my last chemo session. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye. Well, morning, everyone. We're on our way to Grantham Hospital with my mate Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hi there, guys.
Thank you very much for doing it. So yeah, here is the delights of Grantham Hospital. I'm going in. Oh, that's perfect, Paul, for now. Yeah, so I shall see you all when I'm in there. Thanks very much, Paul. So here we are in our outpatients. The last time. For a while anyway. Right, see you at the chemo ward. So it's rather nicely called the Emerald Suite. And here we are, Emerald Suite. So let's just ring the bell.
Calling now. Please wait a moment.
Bit American, but never mind. Doors open. And here we are. And it's really nice here, and you'll find out the girls here are absolutely fantastic. I'd class them as angels. Hello. Thank you very much. The all-important chemo has arrived. As you can see, it is Docetaxel. In a black bag, don't know why, but all ready to go in. So that's me, all set up, all in, easy peasy, and now chill out for an hour. And then we're all free to go. So look, I get a certificate as well. I'm all done, and now I get to ring the bell. Just say, I do talk in the videos as you guys are just like angels, in my opinion. And not only is it amazing here, I've been to Boston, Lincoln, and here, and so it's to me it's all of the people who seem to work in chemotherapy. You're all just this particular character that makes it so lovely for them. So thanks very much. It's been lovely with you. I hope I don't see you for a while now, I have to say, yeah. But you've been fabulous. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done.
Right.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want a photo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Yeah, please. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. It's been an amazing day for myself and for the family. So get through this chemo of 3 weeks. Unfortunately, I have to stay on the steroids on a sort of wean off for 9 weeks. I was hoping I would have stopped the chemo and the steroids. But anyway, I'm hoping as I go through December, I'm going to really start to pick up and then can get focused on this training for my Ironman. So I have a great weekend. I've got some more videos coming out. And so next week, I made a radio show with a friend of mine who has sort of good prostate cancer, and myself with not so good, with an amazing oncologist called Miss Shah, MBE, giving her opinions and the things that she's personally done to help prostate cancer. So I would hope to have that out next Wednesday, I would hope. And then I have also something else coming out the following week. So, as I said, sorry I've been a bit quiet for the last couple of weeks, but Notty's back, still on the dexamethasone, so I haven't crashed yet, which will happen probably tomorrow afternoon. But until next week, have a fab weekend, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.